Dun, dun, dun. Dr. A. Clark from Nobody Believes Me Paranormal, and our special guest today live from her kitchen, it's Zara Hilton.
Hi, everybody.
Can you see the chat, Zara?
I can, actually.
Okay, let's mute that. All right, well, let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? Why don't you tell everyone how you got started in the paranormal field?
Whoops. Okay. Well, I've always been drawn to it ever since I was a child. But I would say my very first experience was early 80s from a house that I used to live in. And we actually lived between a hospital and a graveyard. And in my hometown,
Was there a hospital and then your house and then a graveyard?
Sort of, you had the hospital, a main road, and then the next street was where I lived. And actually, the bottom of our back garden, the actual wall, was part of the wall of the cemetery.
I see. So you got started at an early age.
I started at a very early age. Yes, actually, our tree house was in the cemetery, the bottom of the garden.
So you probably didn't want to go to that. I was going to say hotel, but hospital, because it's a short trip right to the graveyard.
No, it was fine. It was fine, and my hometown was quite heavily bombed in the wartime, it being a coastal town. And that area was bombed as well. And one of the first memories I've got is of hearing warplanes.
Really?
Where I woke up one evening and I thought I was dreaming, and I looked over and my sister was still asleep and I could hear like warplanes. And I thought, okay, well, that was a bit strange, and went back to sleep and never thought another thing of it.
Was it? How loud was it?
It was as if it was outside. And I thought, what's going on? And then the next experience was a few days after my uncle died, and I got woken up during the night, and my uncle is sitting there at the bottom of the bed, and he came to say goodbye. And it would have been around about this date, but back in 1985.
So back when you were still in elementary school.
Yeah. When I was sweet innocent.
So what happened? Explain that whole scenario right there. With the uncle.
I just want to say hello to somebody apart from Sylvia and David. Hi, babes. Hi, Herman. Herman, I've known for 7 years, and I work very closely with him, and he said that he might pop in this evening.
Oh, cool. Well, hi, Herman. That's awesome.
So what was your question again? Sorry.
You said your uncle came to say goodbye? And explain that whole situation. How'd that play out?
It wasn't anything spectacular. It was, I woke up and it was dark, but there was light coming in through the window. And I didn't feel alone, even though I shared a bedroom with my sister. She was fast asleep, but I just didn't feel alone. So, and I've sort of looked, and then I've noticed sort of, it seemed like something at the end of the bedroom. And then ever so slowly, it was, I suppose, in a way, it's a bit like an apparition. I've never seen an apparition, but from things that I've watched and read, I can only assume it was an apparition. And say my uncle was there. Next minute it's on the bed, and I'm still sitting up in bed at this minute. It's something I will never ever forget. And he was like, you know, don't be frightened. Don't be frightened. I'm like, Uncle Lou? And it's like, yeah, it's me. Don't be frightened. I've just come to say goodbye.
Wow.
And I was telling my sister about it. Well, one of my sisters, the other day about it. And my uncle also visited my sister as well to say goodbye as well, but I don't know if that was the same evening or not. I think that might have been a bit later, because what actually happened with that is the night my uncle died was that my mother actually dreamt it. So when she got the telephone call in the morning, I can still see it. I've just come down the stairs. My mum's picked up the phone, and all I've heard her turn around and say is, "I know." That's
wow.
it. Yeah, I know.
Sounds like a movie almost.
It runs in the family.
So moving on from there, what was next for you?
The next vivid memory from it all is I was in a drama group at school, and we were rehearsing for a production, and for some reason we got talking about the paranormal. I can't remember how it came up, and I'm like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. I might be a little bit like that. Let me see if I can contact my aunt. So they're like, right, okay. So I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I must have been about 14. And I was like, right, don't know why or how, but it just felt like my aunt was there. And I was like, right, okay, my aunt's here. And they were saying, oh yeah, right, okay, you've got proof that she's there, because there was a couple of skeptics, and I'm like, okay, well, I can do that. What do you want? Oh yeah, get her to touch one of us on the shoulder. I'm like, okay. And I did, and it happened, and it scared the living daylights out of them.
I bet.
And then that happened a couple of times, and then that was that. And again, I didn't really think anything of it. And then sort of coming to 15, 16, doing the typical bunking off school, and we started doing Ouija board around a friend's house. We didn't have a board, but we did it like with the circle, with the letters cut out, and then we did that a few times, and one time we decided to include that in particular time was really, really freaky, because the glass flew off the table and smashed. A friend of mine, I suppose, was possessed.
In what way?
She was just really, really freaky. She just wasn't herself at all. And two of my friends, they were churchgoers, and they sort of like got some water and sort of blessed it, and you know, we were kids, you know, it's like, oh yeah, no, we do that, that'll be fine, yeah. And she started pouring this water on the back of our maid, and it was literally almost as if steam coming off of her back. It was so freaky.
Whoa.
really freaky. We still talk about it to this day, and it's like 30 years on, almost. It's still something that gets brought up in conversation. But then after that, everything went quiet for years until my nan went into hospital in 2010. I'm not going to stay long on this subject. And when I was in a clinic having a cyst removed from my neck, she came to me in a dream to say goodbye. And then it wasn't that long afterwards that my nan actually died. Yes. So.
Well, in a way, you're sort of lucky, because they're coming to you and saying goodbye. That doesn't happen for everyone, or nearly anyone.
I was very close to my grandmother, and I was quite close to my uncle as well. And my uncle, Karen was doing some short readings a little while ago, and my uncle checks in on me from time to time, just to make sure, because I asked him to.
So you got some of that mediumshipness ability.
It's apparently running in the family. There's some Romany gypsy. With my grandmother, the only way I can describe her is as a precog. She used to go to bingo a couple of times a week. She used to dream that a friend of hers died, and about 14 days later, she died.
Wow.
And that actually happened quite a few times. And they're like, for God's sake, Jessie, please, no more dreams. No more of us wants to die. And then sort of my mother, she knew that my uncle died. One of my sisters, she is a Reiki master, and she's just recently getting more in touch of her spiritual side. So yeah, it seems to be a couple of my sisters, my mum, my grandmother. I'm not too sure about my other cousins or my aunts and uncles, because they don't tend to talk about it, but it's something that we've always been very open about.
Zara, Herman's got a question. He says, I suffer from mental illness. I sometimes get very light psychosis. As someone with experience in this, how would Zara or anyone with experience in this differentiate, okay, I can't say that word, between psychosis and a paranormal experience?
Oh, Herman, you would throw a question like that at me to get my head thinking. Okay. I've had very, very light psychosis. Herman knows this as well. Audible. And I've also heard my name being mentioned non-psychosis. And there's not actually a great difference between the two. It's not something I can really put into words. You just inside, it's different between the two. Because your psychosis, obviously, you sometimes you feel the onset of that coming. Whereas if it was a paranormal experience, it's just going to happen. There's no forewarning. There's no nothing. It's just boom. And I think that's probably about the best that I can explain it, really, on that.
Yeah, the no warning thing is probably a big key. and I had a hallucination, I guess, a psychosis of a sort when I was at work, and I was under some pretty heavy mental stress. I could have sworn that my dead cat was on my desk playing with a pen, and I knew this could not be, but it didn't feel like a paranormal thing. It was more hallucinatory.
There is, I would say, from experiencing very light psychosis and from experiences in the paranormal, there is a very, very fine line between the two. It's all right. I'm just reading the comments as well. To apologize.
You gotta read them out loud because the people who watch us later won't know what you're talking about because they can't see the chat.
Yeah, no, it's just a comment, you know, just to run on from that. Is I understand what you mean, you know, when you are in a psychotic state and when not. So psychosis would be when you are ill, and you would know when you are not. Yes. Is all I can say to that one. Yes.
All right, to get back on track, you scared your friends with the Ouija board.
Yeah,
they got possessed.
That was quite funny. But after that experience, I've never touched a Ouija board since. Purely, it's not because it scared the living daylights out of me. It was like, okay, we've had this in particular spirit, or not long afterwards we found out was not a very nice entity. I said, you know, right, in the next future I am not doing a Ouija board again. And as far as I know, because no, apart from two of them, I'm still in contact with these group of friends, and neither of them have touched a Ouija board since. So it sort of put the heebie-jeebies up us, shall we say?
Yeah. So, does that lead you up into truth seekers, or did you have more experiences?
No, I've just thought of one that what happened, and it's just completely gone. I've had one of my dead rabbits tapping me on the leg when none of my other rabbits were around me. In a pub that's supposed to be haunted, I saw a figure at a window. I had last summer, I had a book falling off of my bookcase where it shouldn't have actually fallen off. There's been little bits and pieces, but it's not something that I think, oh wow, you know, because it's something that I've always grown up with. I think I probably take it for granted in a lot of ways.
Are you still getting your name whispered to you and stuff like that?
No, it's actually quite quiet. So it was last year where I woke up, I was semi awake, semi asleep, and it was, you know, as if somebody's pulling on my hair and then pulling my legs, and I get up, come in the kitchen, have a cigarette, go back in, climb up the stairs to get back into bed, and it was like a hump under my duvet. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That, well, I would say, and a shadow man waking up during the night, but I think that was more from where my chair was than anything else. But the last time being, it's actually been quite quiet.
So, were you watching YouTube videos and stuff, and that's how you got into Truth Seekers?
Through everybody else, same as everybody else, more or less.
Were you watching the gateway drug, Mortis?
No.
Really? You're like the first one to say no.
No, I found Mortis afterwards. I was a, dare I say it,
Huff. Huff in the beginning was legit, and then he got raped by the money devil.
Yeah, it must have been about a good year ago, and there was one video that I saw, and a friend of mine was then, my sisters would, I sent it to a friend of mine. I said to him, you know, oh, you got to have a look at this, and he's like, I'm the make. And I'm like, all right, okay. So I started looking, and I was looking at the comments and then looking at other people's stuff. And that's really how I found Riley and some of the others. And then I saw a comment about Truth Seekers. And I joined when Truth Seekers had, I think, about 51 members back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's, yeah. And that's how it sort of perked my interest again in the paranormal and getting a little bit more involved. I already had my dowsing rods anyway.
Yeah. You just recently got some ghost boxes. What did you get?
I did. I got a COS and I got a dipod. And for those that don't know what a dipod is, I'll just get it.
It looks like an iPod, but it's bigger. You'll see. Don't worry about
it. Yes, you can connect with the past animal babes. I connected with Locke, one of my past animals. And if you want to look at the High Priestess, if you're interested in more, her channel, I can send you the link later. She has connection with one of her past cats. So for those of you that don't know, well, that may not know, that is a COS. And that is the dipod.
Which one you like better?
I'm still getting used to them. At the moment, they're both the same because I'm still trying to make a connection and really listen to see which one is better.
Is there any groups or any people doing what we do around you in Germany?
There's one that I've seen around on YouTube, but as in the Munich area, it's not something that I've really looked into as yet. I think for the moment, you know, because where I am a newbie in this, you know, yes, it's something that's always been around me. It's something that I've always been interested in. But as for taking the next step, thank you, Sisters Wood. I think I need more time before taking that next step, if I do decide to.
Well, that's understandable because you have, you know, you're training your ears to hear the voices and whatnot. So,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You don't want to dive in feet first into this because you can get quickly swallowed up.
Yeah, which is, you know, I don't get my boxes out every single day. I will only turn them on if I feel it is right to turn them on. If I don't have a feeling, oh yeah, you know, even at times if I feel, oh, you know, I might turn the boxes on tonight and just see, but it's as if it's as if I get told no, don't. It's not actually something I can physically hear. It's just more of a feeling. It's like, yeah. No, don't turn them on. So then I won't turn them on. or use Steve Holt's live ghost box website, or whatever I decide to happen to use, because I think that for my own personal opinion is, it's not something that can be commanded, or it's not something, oh yeah, oh, I'm bored, let's turn the ghost boxes on, let's see what's going on. I won't do that. I will only do it, put them on if I feel right, and it feels right to me.
Well, yeah, that's what you should do, because if you're just goofing around, then the spirits are, being disrespected or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to give you any good information anyways, if you're just goofing around.
Exactly. And it's like, even if I don't want to use the ghost boxes, but even then, it still feels right. I use my dowsing rods. I've actually used my dowsing rods more than I've used the ghost boxes. I've been even down to the live stream Saturday just gone, I actually used them for the very first time on a live stream. Just a question, Herman, what is a dowsing rod and why would you use it? That is a dowsing rod. And what it is, spirits are able to connect through it. What normally happens is they've got some little round rods that
do a session right now.
I don't think there's anything here. If anything,
even better.
If anything, hang on. Right. Now I'll do it in such a way where I can, so my hands are showing. But whether anything will, what will normally happen, if it's a yes answer, it'll either go like this, or I'm actually just one side will go, or they'll both go. A no is normally when it crosses over, and sometimes it'll just swing like this, and that's normally, ouch, that's normally an undecisive, don't know, maybe answer. A lot of it is like yes, no's, and you can't really do. You can do a lot with dowsing rods if you know what the type of questions to ask. So, but let's just, and normally what happens is if there is somebody around, the tips of these are very, very cold in comparison to the rest of the rods, what I've found recently. So, okay, and what normally happens, hang on, right, hands together, shoulders, if I stand up like that, that's probably a bit easier actually. But then I can't get level. Right, hang on. Right, let's try it again. Okay. Have to let them settle first. You can all see you can see my wrists. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm good. My thumbs are normally sort of rest. Right, in the middle, please. Okay. Is there a spirit here at the moment? Is there a spirit here at the moment? I'm sliding down my chair. Hang on. I've got slippers on and I'm sliding down my chair. Right, let's try this again, shall we? Okay. Is there a spirit here at the moment, or an entity? Is there somebody that wants to talk? Nobody. 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 We're all very quiet, I'm afraid. No. Nobody here, really. No luck, I'm afraid. But if you go onto the Truth Seekers channel from last Saturday's stream, about 3/4 of the way through it, you'll actually see me using oh, thank you. You'll actually see me using the dowsing rods, and I was also using the pendulum, which was really the first time that I've ever used the pendulum as well. If they want to talk, would a spirit or entity answer if they are present, or would they sometimes choose not to answer? If they want to talk, they would answer somehow.
Well, I didn't say nothing.
Here we go. Here we go. I can have a try, Anthony, but so there's nothing around at the moment, but I can have a check. But what would be the question on your guardian? Because it's you know, it's a basic tool, and it's only really sort of yes, no, or give them like 2 options. Whoops. So but I can say that I can ask and say if you met your guardian on your last video. Right, hang on. I've just got to settle myself down. Right. What was Anthony? I don't understand, darling. I would need a more specific question than that, Anthony, that instead of who is the guardian. Because where I wouldn't be able to get an answer of who is the guardian, because it's only basically yes, no, short validation questions. Would Anthony's guardian, Anthony, who is in chat, would his guardian be able to, did he come through on his last video? Would you know? And as you can see, I'm not moving my hands. Yes, okay, thank you. Back in the middle. Thank you. Back, 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 back. I love my dowsing rods. I just love my dowsing rods. Is the guy? Oh, right. Okay, getcha. Right. Anthony has asked, is the guardian a spirit guide? Is the guardian a spirit guide? No. And as you can see, I'm not moving. Well, very, very little anyway. Can you point the direction Cheeky is in, please? Where is Cheeky? So, which is the direction that he's in? That again, not moving. Not moving. Then I actually move the rods myself. And if I feel the bottom, they're actually quite cold in comparison to this end of the rods. So, but yes, they are my babies. Like somebody's 12587, they are my babies.
That was awesome. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's brief. It's just you know, I'm still learning. You know, I'm not a professional in anything. I don't have lots of experience in anything. A lot of, if it's like doing the dowsing rods, I tend to go with Yeah, I'm not surprised you had to kick him in his butt. He is being lazy. You're welcome, Anthony.
The dowsing rods that you're using have plastic on the handles. Yeah,
no,
show that.
It's all copper. If I'll do the famous what the video in the DVDs do. It's all copper. It's actual copper piping.
Okay, cool.
If I hang on, maybe. Oh no, that's
yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just copper. That's all it is. Same as Riley's, but Riley's on the end has got bamboo, whereas mine's copper. Yes, but I just go with what I feel's right. So,
that was pretty cool for just, like pulling out and doing it.
Yeah, it's.
That didn't sound right, did it? No.
Oh dear. What's that? Will the person doing the dozing know whether the entity answering is the actual entity he or she is speaking to? Question. There's no unless you're actually quite open and that you've got more better connection, communication to spirit, then you're going to know whether that is actually somebody. And how would you know if a bad entity is present?
It would depend what you're using, though. If you're using a spirit box, then they'll basically tell you.
They'll tell you. If you're using the Ouija board or dowsing rods or pendulum or anything else like that, you're just going to feel it. You just know when it's just your natural human basic instincts. If you know if something's bad around you, it's sort of your own intuition sort of kicks in. That's how I know if something is not quite right.
Well, that was pretty cool, doing a dowsing rod session. I've only seen that once in person. My wife's really, really good at it. We were on a ghost hunt in Gettysburg, and they handed her some dowsing rods. She started asking questions. Things went crazy. I mean, like instantly, no, yes, crossing. It was insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for a spirit, it's probably going to be one of the most easiest things to use.
It's a weird feeling too when they start working, because you can kind of feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it. What's it divining paranormal and real, or is it crap? My personal opinion is it's real. It's been proven that it's real. I can't really explain how. I think the easiest way would be have a look on YouTube. There is a lot on there. But yeah, I know
it's definitely real, because way back, I mean, you can even use sticks, and they had to find water. Like then they would drill a well, and then they would find water, and then when they started using it more and more, it does work. It'll find water for sure.
Yep, definitely. But for me, no, I trust my rods. I've only had my rods about a year. So I've even had them before I found all you guys. I trust my rods.
That sounds so dirty.
It does sound so dirty, but I'm not being dirty. It's a proper live stream today, Ray.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to bring it down into the gutter where Glenn is.
I'm behaving today.
But this is a side of you that a lot of people don't get to see. They don't know your background and the stuff that you experienced and what you can do, especially with those dowsing rods. That was impressive, whether you think so or not.
Yeah, I do. I feel I have a connection to them. I most certainly do. Yeah, no, it's what a lot of people see is the joke side, the having a laugh, and maybe getting into, like, when I did the Spirit Talk live session, there's that side as well, but there's also this completely different side of me where I advocate for mental health. I help people with mental health. People that are suicidal and all that lot. I deal with that quite often. So, the laughing, and also apart from having like mental illness myself, which I am very open about, I don't hide behind it at all either. So I just, even though there is this other aspect, what you see is sort of, it's the real me. If I'm feeling rubbish, and I'm not that talkative on a live stream, that just happens to be how I'm feeling that day. Or I could be outrageously stupid like I was with Sarah the other day. Or I could be extremely philosophical. It just really, there's not just, yes, it is what you see is what you get, but it's not, but there's not just this one side to me. I've got my other paths as well. Like, I've got a passion for photography. I love to read. There's this whole other side of me that some people yes, there is the mad side of me as well. Yes, there is that side, which luckily doesn't come out that often.
And we're all grateful for that, because we've seen that video.
Yeah, I just try and keep it I'm just as real as I can possibly be. There's going to be videos in the future that no doubt I'm bawling my eyes out. And that I'm going to be like the other day, really, really stupid, where I'm slightly hyper, and when I'm very serious and focused, and I'm just presenting to the world, who I am, with no false pretenses. I wore masks for years, not physically a mask, but hiding who I was as a person. But over the last years, I don't do that anymore. Yes, Herman, you have seen me mad as well.
Well, that's why we all love you, Zara. You're always, out front with everything, with your feelings, your thoughts, your opinions.
I try to be, I know I'm here for a purpose. I'm still learning what that purpose is. Every day is a new learning curve for me with regards to the paranormal side and the other sides of my life. It's just a journey that I'm enjoying taking, and just really looking forward to seeing where it takes me eventually. And just sharing what I can with you guys on YouTube, with the True Seekers, my non-True Seeker paranormal friends, just experiencing the journey with you guys, and seeing what you guys do and how you guys develop in the future as well. That is
called growth.
That is just me.
Yeah. No, it's all good. We're gonna have to. It's 2:00 here, so we're gonna wrap it up for this week. Zara, thank you so very much for coming on and being the secret special guest.
Oh, you're very welcome, Ray. It was an absolute pleasure. It really was.
And Hopefully we'll have another special surprise guest. And
oh, that would be good. Oh, just changing rooms. Sorry.
I'm in talks with a couple people to come on. I don't know if they're gonna or not, but we'll find out next week.
Well, if any of these people that you are talking to have seen any of your shows, if you do get approached and do get asked, do participate. Because, you know, it's nice to know what your journey is, how you got involved, and, you know, just to let other people know a little bit more about yourself. So it's definitely worth it. I can highly recommend it.
Plus, it's good for the new people that are coming on because they may have similar experiences, and that way they can feel not so all alone. Oh, you got a bunny.
I got a bunny. He's just hiding at the moment. Yes, if ever you hear of, he hates being picked up, so I won't keep him here long. But this is the infamous Cheeky, and you'll actually see him in one of my videos called My Rabbit and Orbs. So, and with him actually reacting to an orb as well. But yes, he lives up to his name, shall we say.
All right, so until next week, this is Dr. Ray Clark from Nobody Believes Me Paranormal, and Zara Hilton was our special guest today. Everyone in chat, thank you for coming in. Hi, Dreama, how you doing? And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Where are you going?
I'm sitting on my sofa.
Oh, okay. All right, everyone.
Bye.
We had a tour of Zara's house. Bye-bye.
Bye.